Hi, I am Dr. Srinivas. In this session, we are going on a journey of knowing biochemical importance of carbohydrates and its classification. What are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are sugar. They are the building molecules. They are present in breakfast, they are present in fruits, they are present in beverages, they are present in rice and any food item which we eat. And by definition, carbohydrates are derived from word saccharin, which is from Greek, which means sugar. That is the reason why it is called saccharides. And what is it made up of? It is made up of oxygen, carbon and hydrogen, and few of the carbohydrates as nitrogen and other elements along with it. Chemically, carbohydrates are polyhydroxy molecules. They contain more than one hydroxy group and a functional group which can be either aldehyde, that is CHO group, or keto group, that is CO group. And definition of carbohydrates: they are polyhydroxy alcohol with potentially active carbonyl group which can be either aldehyde and keto group. This is the complete definition of carbohydrates. Then where do you find these carbohydrates? They are present in plants and they are produced from sunlight, and the plants store this as glucose and other complex carbohydrate for their energy source, and humans take this carbohydrates from the plant and use it for its energy and growth. So what are the carbohydrates used for? It is used to give energy. You can see for all the activities, for running, for working, you require carbohydrates. Without carbohydrates, without energy, the person will not be able to do any form of work. And what are the other functions which carbohydrates provide? They provide storage for future use. They provide materials for the structure of cells, in plant as a cell wall, in membrane, in cell membranes. And for quick energy, you can get it from sugar. For storage form of carbohydrates, it is present as starch, and cellulose is an example for the structural form of carbohydrates which are present in the cell wall of the plants. Carbohydrates are the most abundant class of macromolecule. It is one among the 4 macromolecule along with protein, nucleic acid and fat. They are necessary for building the life as we know, and it is important to function as macromolecule are new energy source. As a receptor, it stores energy for the future use and it is part of nucleic acid. So carbohydrates provide 4 kilocalories of energy, whereas protein also provide 4 and fatty acid provide 9 kilocalories of energy. So without energy, no function of human can be done. So carbohydrates are very important molecule, and it is particularly important for brains and RBC because it is wholly dependent on carbohydrates, where other cells can use it from fat or proteins. We ingest a sugar molecule and they are digested, then they are absorbed, then they are assimilated and produce a molecule called ATP, which is the energy source for all our activity. And for the storage form, it is stored as polysaccharides. Other functions of carbohydrates are in the form of recognition, in the form of adhesion between the cell, and for the cell growth, and for the receptor, and it is part of lipoproteins. These are all present in the cell membrane, carbohydrate component of cell membrane, and it is necessary for preparing fatty acid and amino acid when it is not provided through diet. So carbohydrates are also present in nucleic acid and nucleotide, which is a building molecule for DNA and RNA. Without DNA and RNA, no life can exist and propagate, and it is in the form of insoluble molecule which are present in cell wall of bacteria and connective tissue for animals. So they are present in extracellular matrix as a glue which can bind the tissues together. And as a complex carbohydrates, it helps in lubrication of joint, it helps in anticoagulation, and it is present as ground substance for the connective tissue and exoskeleton of insects. In sweetening agent, you can see them in fruit juice and in sweet recipes, as which it can give a delicacy taste for the food which we eat. Carbohydrates are classified according to the number of molecules it has. If it has one molecule, that is mono, it is called monosaccharide. If 2 carbohydrates molecule are joined together, are called disaccharide. If the molecule is between 2 to 10, it is called oligosaccharide. If they have more than 10, it is called polysaccharide. and also there are some molecules which are modified, they are called modified or derived carbohydrates. So what are monosaccharides? Monosaccharide are further classified depending on what functional group it has, either it has aldo sugar or it has keto group. They are called aldo monosaccharide or keto monosaccharide, and depending on the carbon length, number of carbon atom present in the molecule, it can be triose which has 3 carbon molecule, or tetrose it has 4 carbon molecule, pentose 5 carbon molecule, hexose 6 carbon molecule, or heptose which has 7 carbon molecule. So carbon, depending on carbon length, we have triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose, heptose and nanose. And important molecules which are present in nature are glyceraldehyde for triose, erythrose for tetrose, and ribose which is present in RNA and DNA, and glucose which is the important energy molecules which is derived from the diet, and it belongs to a group called hexose which is 6 carbon atom, and heptose which is present as an intermediary form in producing nucleic acid called RNA, and neurominic acid is a derived product of carbohydrates. And other important monosaccharides which are necessary for our life are fructose, galactose which is present in sugar for sweetness, and galactose present as milk sugar in all the milk products which we have. Glucose, as we said, it is an important molecule and it is necessary for biosynthesis of various other molecules like glucuronic acid, galactosamine, galactose and amino acid which are not essential through the diet, and glycosides. And galactose which is other important molecule of carbohydrates, it is present in milk, human milks and in the cow milks which we take, and it also has dietary and caloric value equivalent to glucose, and in liver it is transformed into glucose and it is necessary for synthesis of glycolipids, mucopolysaccharide and glycoprotein. Galactose, it is important as mother milk and in the form of lactose which is nothing but galactose and glucose together, and it is necessary for infants because as a growing child they require galactose for their brain function and nervous function, and galactose is an important molecule for both nerve development as well as brain development. So that is the reason why the breast milk is very much essential in infants, and exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months is absolute necessary without giving any additional nutrition for the infants. One more important molecule is mannose, and mannose is an important component of glycoprotein, and derived product of mannose is called mannitol, and mannitol is a drug which is used to reduce the tension in the brain which is built up on any accidents or any trauma to the brain where the CSF pressure builds up. You need to reduce the CSF pressure. We use a drug called mannitol and it is derived from the molecule mannose, and it is also used as a diuretic in acute renal failure patients. And other important molecule is fructose, and this fructose is present in honey, and fructose is very important for many body cells and more particularly important for sperm motility which is present in semen. One more most important molecule among monosaccharide are fructose, and they are present in the form of sucrose which is abundantly present in honey. It is also called as honey sugar, and it has dietary and caloric value equivalent to the glucose, where in liver it is transformed into glucose and metabolized, and it is importantly present in semen, and it is helps in nutrient of the sperm and motility of the sperm. Then coming to pentose, pentose sugars which are physiologically important are D-ribose, D-ribulose, D-xylose and D-arbinose. D-ribose which is a component of nucleic acid, and it is present in ATPs, NAD and flavoprotein along with nucleic acid like RNA and DNA. D-ribulose, it is an intermediate of HMP pathway and it is formed from the metabolic process, and D-arbinose and D-xylose, they are the constituent of glycoprotein and they are present in plums, gums, and they are present in glycosaminoglycan. And D-xylose and D-xylulose, other less important pentose sugars, they are present in uronic acid pathway and also in heart muscles, where it is present as lysoflavin, and in pentose urea D-xylose will be excreted as an additional excretory product. There are biologically important molecules which are derived from monosaccharide, and they are sugar acids, sugar alcohol, amino sugar and sugar phosphate. We will learn about these important molecule in subsequent slide. Coming to sugar acid, they are oxidation product of our polyhydroxy groups which are oxidized to form acid, and there are three important molecules among sugar acid. They are uronic acid, aldonic acid, saccharic acid, and the type of sugar which are producing this acid depending on the number of carbon, what carbon atom is being oxidized. Oxidation of terminal carbon atom leads to formation of uronic acid, whereas oxidation of aldehyde functional group lead to formation of aldonic acid. If there is an oxidation of both the terminal and aldehyde group, will leads to formation of saccharic acid. The important aldonic acid which are present in human bodies are glucuronic acid and iodinic acid. They are derived from glucose, manurinic acid which is derived from mannose monosaccharide, and galactoronic acid which are derived from galactose. Example of aldose sugars which are oxidized to form aldonic acid are gluconic acid, manoic acid and galactonic acid. They are derived from glucose, mannose and galactose correspondingly. And amino sugar, there is one more derived product called amino sugar, where there is replacement of amino group in one of the hydroxyl molecule of hexo sugar or mono sugars. They are called amino sugar, and if the amino group is attached to the carbon atom 2, it is called glucosamine, where you can see the amino group at this carbon atom 2 is replaced by an amino NH2 group. If galactose is used, it is called galactosamine, and most of the amines are replaced by an acetyl group. They are called amides. You can see in this example, here the amino group is attached with an acetyl group. They are called N-acetyl glucosamine. All these amino sugar are present in cell membrane and various molecules and have very important biological properties. And coming to the next one, which is called alcohol sugars. They are ketone aldehyde reduced to form an alcohol. Here you can see an example of glucose being reduced to form sorbitol. Here the molecule, that aldehyde functional group of glucose is converted to an alcohol group, it is called sorbitol. Similarly, as xylose is converted to xylitol, where the aldehyde group is converted to an alcohol group, ribose is converted to ribitol, and so sorbitol, xylitol and ribitol has very important function in our body. You can see the examples of sugars and their corresponding alcohol in this slide. They are sorbitol, which is derived from glucose, mannitol which is derived from mannose, sorbitol and mannitol which are derived from fructose, ducitol which is from galactose, ribitol which is from ribose. These molecules are usually present in our body. The other, which are erythritol, xylitol, lactitol and mannitol, they are present in very minute amount. So, to summarize, till now what we have observed is the classification of carbohydrates, their biological functions, examples of carbohydrates, and most importantly the derived products of monosaccharide, and we will continue with disaccharide in next session. Thank you.